to have the bollocks.
Do you really want to go toe to toe with me on that?
You've completely, like, what are we doing here? Levy isn't going anywhere.
It's all down to timing, isn't it?
Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Five. It is Thursday night. The horrible international break is behind us, and we've got a few days before potentially the next horrible endeavour to be a Tottenham fan, which is, of course, Arsenal away. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about some really interesting things. Ludo's done a bit of digging around and found some data regarding Tottenham spend and Arsenal spend, the relativity. Does Daniel Levy get a little reprieve on this one from Ludo? I doubt it, but I'll be spinning the gauntlet that way to make sure we got some delicate debates this evening. We have, of course, as you know, Johnny is on his way back from his Holly Pops. He doesn't mind the little holiday, does old Johnny boy. He's on his way back, and we promised you that there was always going to be Spurs 5 on Thursday night. So we have a couple of guests to bring in. Before I bring them in, before I find out how Lubo and Stel is doing as well, usual admin guys, please do smash the like button like your life depends on it. Hit the subscribe if you believe that Tottenham have some resemblance of a chance on the weekend. Hit the notification bell button. That should be squeezed as a inevitability, and also drop your comments. Keep them coming thick and fast, but also keep them respectful. And also, lastly, before I bring the guest selector up, guys, we are, of course, on podcasts. We are on Apple Pods. We are on Amazon. And we are also on Spotify, where you can watch the show back as well. So please do, if you're into those sorts of things, look us up, Spurs 5. You'll find us. Or go into the description where you can find the links, and give us a 5-star rating if you don't mind, and a follow. Guys, before I come to you, Lubo and Stel, it's time to find out who is on the ticket for tonight. And with that, we have to bring this in. Yeah, we've got a guest selector. We have a guest selector. And with that, we also have, of course, the doorbell. Who could it be, guys? Who could it be? I love a jingle. Let's find out the first guest of this evening. You know him as Mr. Change for Tottenham. He's here, and he is going to be a wonderful part of the show. Making his debut on the show, please give it up for Billy T. Billy, how are you, my man? Good to see you, buddy.
Hello, mate. Very good. Honoured to be on the Spurs 5. Love you guys. And I'm wowed by that production value. So, yeah, buzzing to get into it.
You can always tell every week when Sean's got a spare 20 minutes, he creates some sort of absolute donut thing like that. That's what I like to do for an evening. And right behind him, we've got somebody else. There's somebody else at the door. Who could when he's not out there fleecing old ladies for £100 for a quick turn of a tap, he is on YouTube channels making absolute donut predictions and donut takes on all things to do with Tottenham Hotspur. Please welcome to the show. He's your favourite plumber from another mama. James Flower. How are you, James? Good to see you, mate.
I think we should do that again. Start again. Do it again. I want to do that again. No, I'm good, boys. I'm good. How are we?
Good to see you, man. Yeah, great. How's things? Are you enjoying whatever you're doing? Ripping people off today? Ripped off enough mamas? How's things going?
Well, it's double busy, but obviously coming up to Christmas, it's got to be double bubble. Someone's got to pay for the turkey, haven't they? So.
Great to have you back, my man. Great to have you back. Is it? This isn't your debut on the Spurs 5, is it?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Is it debut on the Spurs 5? Double debuts tonight, guys. Double debuts. Lubo, how are you, mate?
I'm good, in fact, I must tell you something. I'm absolutely humbled tonight. Firstly, welcome, James. You know, I've got my pal from the Vicario Appreciation Society on with me tonight.
My goalkeeper.
Yeah, absolutely. And welcome, Billy. You know,
Hello, mate.
this is like, you know, we are talking here. We have got Billy, Stel, and Sean. This is heavy hitters. This is your Branson Sugars of the Lilywhite Brigade. Seriously, we have got
My chairman.
Still with Brian started it off. Billy's coming with Change for Tottenham. Sean is an ever present at every single Change for Tottenham demo, right? And I am absolutely humbled to be here with these Lilywhite guys. So anyway, back to our resident activist. Sorry, I meant host, Sean.
Listen, I was never Levy's my chairman. Listen, that guy, I will always back. Enoch, the new version, the old version, I don't have quite the same affiliation. So, as I've said to you guys for a long time, you've been watching this channel. Since Daniel Levy's departure, I am no longer affiliated to any particular take on Tottenham, and so as the host, I can just sort of blow whichever way the wind is going. I'm happy to move into any particular direction and just mud people. I'm throwing mud left, right, and centre.
This is not North Stand or South Stand. This is Tunnel Club tonight. Seriously.
Well, listen, we shall see if Enoch don't. And we got an Ornstein kind of bomber tonight, by the way. Apparently, Tottenham are meaning to do business this January, so we're gonna be talking about that. And if they don't deliver it, then for sure, Enoch are getting all the new version of Enoch are getting all of the mud. Stel, how are you, my man? Good to see you, buddy. You okay?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Everyone in the chat, you know the drill. Get your super chats in, get your comments in, all the good stuff. Big up to James and Billy for coming on tonight. Johnny again, part-timer. It's official. He's a part-timer. He's just on a constant sabbatical. But I actually can't wait for this weekend to be done with, because honestly, I'm done. I'm done with all the delusion building up to this game. It's ridiculous. It's getting stupid again, people. It's getting stupid again. But I'm sure we will discuss. We
certainly will. Before we do though, Stel, do you want to just? A lot of people are asking in the comments what's going on with your channel. Do you want to just update people?
Which channel? We've had three. Which one do you want me to? Okay, so we started up again under the name Spurs Corner because we can't use Tottenham away. YouTube blocked it. We've done 2 live shows and it's been taken down because YouTube thinks we are bots and not humans. So we're now in an appeal process with YouTube to prove that we're humans. We're cursed. It's just we're just cursed. I don't know what else to say. So we'll see what happens.
The problem is that Daniel Levy was on the committee at YouTube that brought you down. That's I don't know how you're going to get out of that one, mate.
Joe Lewis has bought he's bought YouTube or Google or something. No. Yeah, it's random. It's random. They think we're bots, so we have to just prove we're humans. Once we've done that, the channel should be back up. So I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say.
How many episodes did you do of the Spurs Corner before it was taken down?
2.
Oh man, listen, I'm sorry to hear it, buddy. I'm sorry to hear it, man. I hope it all works out. All right, guys, listen. Let's start with we're gonna shift the Arsenal preview towards the end of the show. And with that, we'll before we get into that, we're also going to talk a little bit about the Arsenal transfer spend. The hypothesis that Lubo has that he wants to drop on us, which I think is quite interesting when he said it to me earlier on. Before we get into that, though, let's talk a little bit about, there's a couple of stories. First of all, David Ornstein on the Athletic podcast this afternoon did say that Tottenham they mean business, essentially. I'm paraphrasing here, but he from all he's hearing, that Tottenham mean business this January. Difficult window to do business in, but we should have money, right? The £100 million injection, the £90 million cash flow thing as well. Not sure how much of that was all intended for the window, but Luba, I'll start with you, mate. Are you when Ornstein speaks, people tend to listen? This is good news, right? Like if he's hearing the whispers that Tottenham are that are looking to do things, what does that look like in your mind?
Well, if you look at what they've said, what they've come out with since Levy got sacked, they want to win trophies. They're taking the football side seriously, They've had three serious intents of from outsiders looking to purchase the club that they've turned down. So you've got to look at it and think to yourself, why are they doing that? It would be easy. Find a buyer, take your profit. With the 100 million that they put in recently, that's an investment, a personal investment from ENIC of 350 million. So if you pick up 3.5 billion, you've put a naught on your investment. I mean, you're 10 times, which in today's climate is bloody good. So for me, I've said all along, I think they are serious. Listen, I might be completely wrong. I might be putting my hands up September the 1st at the end of the summer window and saying, do you know what? These guys are worse than Levy because they've made out their interest, whereas Levy never did. In which case, I'd be definitely with the three of you marching down Tottenham High Road. That's for sure. with my pal, with the ever-present Sean. Do I think they're serious? Yeah. Listen, this is great. You've got the 90 million from the money that they brought forward against the TV money. They put in 100 million. There's 190. Now, that may not all go towards the football side, but when you're looking at monetizing transfers and maybe you're splitting your payments over 5 years, then you can get quite a lot, even if you're spending 100 million and it's 20% of the fees, or 80 million for 400. We need to spend big. We are 300 million pounds, I think, are worth of quality players short for this first team that would completely transform us into challengers, into being competitive. And if they're going to go about it and start in January, which is never an easy window, I think there'll probably be some good loan jobs out there, loan players to bring in for 5-6 months. I think it's possible. I think it's good. Exciting times. Frank needs a proper squad and a proper team to work with. At the moment, it's unbalanced. We're short in various. Simmons hasn't settled yet, so we're short of a 9. We're short of a 10 till Simmons settles, and we're short of an 11 because Odegaard's coming through, but he's not quite there yet in terms of a left winger. You'd be looking at like a Savinho, like a Semenya. Odegaard's coming through, but he's nowhere near that level. So for me, we're 4 players short in that first team for sure. And then we're short if Mickey gets injured. Udogie gets injured, there's no one naturally who can step in. And you look at Arsenal, Gabriel was injured, Hincapié comes in. If Mickey gets injured, who comes in with us? Davis when he's fit? That shows you the difference between the two clubs. If Kudus gets injured, there's no one to fill in there. Polinia gets injured, there's no one to fill in there. So we're short of 4 players in the first team, and we're short at least of 4 players for cover. So that's 8 players. So we've got a bit of work to do.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Billy, let me bring you in, mate. Obviously, we've heard a lot about Semenyo forever. The most recent update that we're all kind of gathering is that the transfer release fee is around 65 million, and apparently it can be triggered this January. No details on the structure of the payments. Just talking about that whole liquidity issue, do you think when you look around the potential competition for the signature and what those teams may or may not have to do before they can potentially move for him, either with Arsenal, for example, maybe having to sell a couple of players like Trossard or Martinelli, which is difficult in January as it is. Liverpool maybe have different priorities in the initial instance. Manchester United don't really play to a system that has a spot for a left winger, for example. If the structure of the payment was a heavy front load of cash up front, A, does that play into Tottenham's hands? B, do you think Tottenham could actually get him? And C, would that be a desirable way for you to see us go about our window if Ornstein's right that Tottenham really do mean business?
I think it would, to any ambitious club, it would play into their hands because, in general, the release clause kind of cuts out the negotiation. Unfortunately, we've seen with Tottenham that's not necessarily the case. We tried to haggle with a couple of release clauses over the years, particularly last summer where it bit us with the Eze deal. the Morgan Gibbs-White deal, obviously. So, you would expect a club, a release clause to make it easier. That's not always necessarily the case with us, but hopefully, if we do have these so-called new directors, new owners, new ambition, that will make it very easy to just put the money on the table and there it's done. My big concern is Liverpool, to be honest with you. I think the noises coming out from online seem to suggest that he's a player that they really want. I think if we're not going to sign Semenyo, I think we really have to prioritise the left winger either with this window or in summer, because it's a massive gap in the squad. I'm a big fan of Odegaard. I think he's a really decent young winger, but he's not a starting left winger. He's the kind of player that would be great alongside a quality left winger like a Kudos level winger, and you'd be able to rotate him in games and stuff. But we have to show ambition. I think this has done has meant that it has to be questioned at January if we don't put in a 65 million bid for this, because you're not going to be going to get a Premier League ready winger. Arguably, I saw Wayne Rooney today called him in the top 3 players of the season. He set the season like this year. You're not going to get a better price than 65 million. So I know there's all the differences between the terms, and that might be 65 million up front or whatever. But this is a really good chance for the owners to show that they're different. I have suspicions whether that should be the case, and we'll see. But it's right there. The door's open now, so we've got to go through it. But my big concern would be Liverpool, to be honest with you. I have a real feeling he'll end up at Liverpool quite early in the window, because I just think they're going to panic after their start to the season. And, and they have some quite poor winger options, which is crazy considering the money they spent.
Just quickly, Billy, as a pushback on, not pushback, but as another angle, I was speaking about this earlier today. If Liverpool were to get Semenyo, there's a name of a player, a caliber of player at Liverpool that Liverpool might think is inconsistent. That I think if they were to bring Semenyo in, given that they already have a few other names that are competing for that spot in that left winger position, and they've got the young kid as well, Onua or whatever his name is, who they obviously have high hopes for. Is there a chance? I'm not necessarily saying immediately, but if Tottenham were to go and find somebody else on a loan deal, for example, for the rest of the year, in the summer, do you think there's any chance that Tottenham, and if so, would you be interested in looking at Cody Gakpo? So I don't think that Cody Gakpo will be very happy staying at Liverpool if he knows that he is completely depositioned and deprioritised behind possibly Ekitike and also Semenyo on the left spot.
Mate, he's in my fantasy football team, so it'll get an immediate yes from me. I think that's I think that would be quite a smart signing. We don't really make many smart signings as Tottenham. I think he's got much more, I think our big problem in the front line is we do not score anywhere near enough goals. We don't have any goal scorers in that front line. Cody Gakpo, from my fantasy football returns at least, seems to have a pretty decent number of goals and assists. I'd like to really go out and make a real statement signing on that left wing. We've spoken about it before, Sean. My top choices would be Yildiz if we can't get that, or maybe Ndiaye at Everton. I think is a really good player as well. But I think I could make peace with Cody Gakpo, put it that way. But I think if this is a new ownership for Tottenham, new beginning, I think they're going to have to make a statement signing in that front three somewhere.
Yeah, I love that. James, I'll come to you now, mate. Just on that note, mate, same sort of question to you. How do you see us going about the window? Do you think that Semenyo is more or less realistic because of the kind of terms and the sort of news that's out there? But also, I just want to sort of drip into the conversation here. I think that Billy just sort of touched on. We have got these sort of new look owners, same owners but new look, new version. Papa's got a brand new bag, whatever. I think there's certain transfers out there that are fairly easy to do. Like an Ademola Lookman wouldn't be a complex transfer, right? There's question marks around his personality, whatever. But, if we've got Daniel Levy out of the way, and Daniel Levy was the problem, going and signing certain players that don't really move the needle in the complexity of transfers, for me, would be a bit underwhelming. I feel like if these owners want to really come in and prove a point and say, it wasn't Daddy. It's no longer Daddy. It's no longer Daniel. It was all those. This is us, and we want what you want. To me, I want to see, as Billy was saying, like a successful transfer for a top draw player that maybe previous iterations of Tottenham's kind of management or ownership would fail to get over the line because of nickeling and diming or whatever, haggling too much. Is this January the window where these guys can really put up some sort of demonstration of ambition?
Yeah, so first of all, on the owners, in my opinion, nothing's changed until you prove that it's changed. Do you know what I mean? Someone commits a crime and then just gets waved away. It doesn't mean they didn't commit the crime. When you've got 25 years of experience. Listen, for me, Daniel Levy was part of the problem, but he's had his hands tied by 70% of the owners, in my opinion. So it's all well and good saying Daniel Levy's gone, everything's changed. That's not the case, in my opinion, until they prove it anyway. Players for me, Adam Lookman, no thank you. I don't think he's a needle mover. I think his attitude stinks. I just think that that's a bad idea. Cody Gakpo, let's face it, if he can't hit form in the Liverpool team, he's got no hope in the Tottenham team. So again, someone that inconsistent in a very good team for me wouldn't do well in a Tottenham team where he would actually be relied on, rather than, like, for me, he would have a lot more pressure on him at Spurs than he does at Liverpool. I feel like he gets the opportunity to play with a bit of freedom at Liverpool. And look, he's a good player. Again, he's not a needle mover for me. Semenyo, so the buy option in buyout clause in Semenyo, for me, we should be bidding for him now. We should do that now and just say, look, there's a 65 million. Here you go. We want him. Get all the ducks in a row. Then the 1st of January, go, right, bang, you're in. Let's move. Let's go forward. Now you can spend the 30 days getting a midfielder or a striker or whoever you want to get. For me, I think we do need a left winger because, sorry, Sean, I think Odegaard's crap. I think Brennan Johnson's crap. I think the whole front three barring Kudos is crap, to be honest. So for me, I think we do need a left winger, but the one position that's more important than the left wing is the striker. We cannot finish January with the same strikers that we have. It's all well and good asking a winger to score 8 or 10 goals, or if they have a really good season, they get 12 goals from January. That ain't good when you've got Richarlison that doesn't even turn up for 12 games. Do you know what I mean? We need goals up front. And if you're going to put all the pressure, and this is where I give Odegaard a bit of leeway. He's asked to come in and perform when we don't have a striker. Week in, week out, we play with 10 men. So for me, all the money needs to be spent on a striker if we're only going to get one position. I think
that's the priority, more than a left winger.
Absolutely. I think that we've got people that could fit in there. So Kulu's coming back. Could Xavi play there for the rest of the season? I don't want him there, but I'd rather him there than Tell. And then I would go out and get an absolute goal scorer. So if it's an Ivan Toney, Osman, I don't know who. There's loads out there, but for me, you need goals, and that's with all this defensive football. Because Frank is showing he's a fairly defensive manager, you need someone to put the ball in the back of there. You may only get 2 or 3 chances. At the moment, Richarlison's goal-to-game ratio is about 10 shots, 1 goal. And if we're only creating 2 or 3 a game, it's 5 games before he scores a goal. So for me, you need a killer up front to play defensive football.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, we're going to come to the striker department in the next segment because there's a bit of interesting news out about Kolo Muani that I want to get everyone's take on. But just to finish off this initial instance, Stel, same sort of question to you, mate. What are you expecting? Like, do you think like the Ornstein news, essentially saying that he's here in Tottenham mean business? Does this go back to the Lewis thing? I know you're not someone that buys into the transfer rumor mill, but when Ornstein talks, he's usually closer to the mark. He doesn't say things just for the sake of it. So how do you interpret that?
I think he needs to shut up. I think he needs to just stop talking. Quite frankly, he's gaslighting the fan base. He's geeing everyone up for the usual averagey fall. Just let it play out. Let's see what happens, because the proof is in what we see, not what they all say. And they all speculate. That's how they make their money. 99% of the time they're wrong. He'll be wrong as well. I just don't listen to any of them, Sean. But you know me, that's my stance on it. A lot of people love it. I just can't stand it. When we do the business, then we can talk. So I don't believe anything he says. I'll believe what I see. What I'm really looking at is, of course, we need a striker, a left winger, a proper ball playing midfielder. We need all of it. Maybe some cover at wing back, but I'm really looking to the summer to see who we get rid of. Because if I see Richarlison, Johnson, Tells, Odegaard, Archie Grays, Pape Sarrs, Ben Davies, if I see this at Tottenham next year, nothing has changed for me. Absolutely nothing has changed. Zero. Because if you look at Klopp when he went to Liverpool, he got rid of everyone. Everyone got flushed out over time. The only player that survived the Arteta rebuild was Saka. Everyone else flushed out. So if we're going to be serious, because they're the teams we have to compete with. Arsenal are top of the league right now. Liverpool won the league last year. I mean, Pep flushed out a hell of a lot. If we're going to be serious, we've got to get rid of these players and stop hoping they come good. Stop hoping that, they're going to be the answer. For now, we've got to deal with it. We've just got to do the best we can. Maybe one or two might surprise us and actually come good. But as much as we need Semenyo, we need Ivan Toney or whoever else we sign up front, Lookman on the wing, whoever we sign, we need to get rid of the trash, because what happens is when the players get injured, it's the trash that you turn to
Who is the
provide
trash?
the same output.
Who's the trash in the squad that you're talking about?
There's only 8 players I'd keep, Sean. There's only 8 players I would genuinely keep. If we're talking about winning a league title, challenging to win the Champions League, if you're talking about a Carabao Cup, finishing top 4 or 6, you can keep a lot more players. You can keep a lot more.
In terms of making a real march, who are they? Who are the 8?
Van de Ven, Romero, Paulinho, Kudus. How many is that?
4.
Vicario.
Vicario I'm 50-50 with. I'm not against him, but if we're serious about winning the league, he's got to command his box better than what he shows. I'm just being honest.
Wouldn't keep Pedro Porro.
That guy has won us 4 or 5 games this season out of 11.
Porro can't defend. He can't defend. He's the level we need if we're about winning the league.
Well, hang on a second. You think so?
I keep Udogie. I keep Udogie because I honestly believe there's a player that can truly be developed there. 100%. I keep Udogie. I'd keep Spence because he can defend. And then
Porro would be a player that if he was available would attract attention of the Man Cities and the Liverpools.
Well, look, in my opinion, I think we can do better with the right back situation. In the midfield,
can I ask a question?
Do I think Bentancur is going to lead us to a league title? No. Do I think Pape Sarr is? No. Do I think Xavi Simons might? Yeah. I think we got to see where we go with him. But I agree with James. Across the front three, other than Kudus, we are clutching at straws, man. We really are. If we want to compete with Arsenal, City to win the league title, we need a complete clear out. If we want to get top 4, we can do it with this squad. Oh, forget Muani, man. Forget Muani. No.
I think if we want to compete with the Evertons, the Fulhams, we still need to new front three.
No. This squad went away to Bodo Glimt and got schooled. Bodo Glimt. So
the same squad went there last year, and a weaker squad that went there last year and beat them.
This is what I was going to say to Stel. With his squad selection, does it change if we had a different manager? I.e., if we had somebody that played a 3-5-2 or whatever. For me, I then keep Danso, I keep Porro, I keep Udogie. There's a lot more who I actually open up and say I'll keep if we had a better coach.
I'll say this. The only manager who properly got to clear it out was Poch. From what he inherited to what he ended up with, it was a complete clear out. What we didn't do for Poch was give him a strong bench.
That was 5 years. That was over 5 years.
Yeah, it takes time. I agree. But had we done that bit, I think we would have won the lot. I really do. So to me, change the manager. Yeah, I'm not. You know me. I have no emotional attachment to any manager. But whoever the manager is, even if it's Frank, it's got to be a proper clear out. I can't have Lubo defending Archie Gray every week, thinking we're going to win league titles with him in the middle. I can't hear fans telling me Solanke, just you wait till he comes back. I just don't see it. When I see Arsenal with Zubimendi and Declan Rice, and our offering's going to be Archie Gray, I can't do it. I just can't. That's the competition. That's the level we're at now. If we want to be winning league titles, so
still, the more important for me, yes, you've got to get rid of players when it's the right time. But if we're going to compete with these top teams, we've got to compete with them in the transfer market. Because if it's a question that there's a pecking order and the top 4 are going to clean up the best players that are out there, and then Spurs come into the second level, we're never going to catch them. We're never ever going to catch them. And so it's got to change at some point.
I'm not saying do it all in one summer, but if at the end of this summer I see that same front 3 and that same midfield, I'm sorry, we're asking, because whilst we're not doing enough, the rest are strengthening, and it just makes it even harder. We're always chasing our tails. At some point, we've got to say, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top players all come in. You 8 get out. We've got, at some point, we've got to have a proper flush, because even when we do these rebuilds, we still seem to sneak in a Chicken Royale or a Mateus Tell, or we still seem to sneak in this gun.
Do you know what the difference is? And I know Liverpool haven't made the best of starts, but they've spent 450 million, I think, on 5 or 6 players, and spent 380 on 18 players, and that's the difference.
Hang on, we're going to come to the financial arrangements in a later segment.
Well, we've got Frank now, so let's see what Frank does. We've got Frank.
Yeah.
Billy, I saw you took yourself off mute a couple of times there, which was a trigger for me to think you want to add some contributions. So I'm going to bring you in.
Yeah, I was just going to say, don't worry about it, lads, because Basuma's staying, isn't he? So renewing a new contract, so we're going to be all right, aren't we?
Billy, this is exactly what I mean. That proves that if he stays, that sums it up.
Do we not agree?
We're not winning a league title with Basuma.
Hang on. Do we not agree that it's better, if you're going to get rid of Basuma, get rid of him and bring in 15, 20 million that can go towards
who's going to pay it, though, is my worry. Like, they didn't pay it last. It was apparently available for that this summer. No one paid it. He doesn't even play at the moment. So I think we've got to be cutthroat and just bin these players off.
Yeah. Well, Arsenal did the same thing. Arsenal did the same thing with Aubameyang, Lacazette.
Lacazette, Pepe, Guendouzi. That was about 200 million pounds of players. Get out. Just get out.
For me, I agree that we have to be relentless. But unfortunately, sorry, Lubo, you praise this crap that we signed, so it's one of them. You can't. And sorry, Sean, you as well.
Whoa.
Sorry, no, I'm not having it.
James,
you can't be.
James, there's rules here, mate. When I'm giving the eye, like when I'm doing that, as in like you've got him. When I'm saying like you've got Lubo there, right? Which is this song starts playing.
Got him.
No, I want all of it.
Let James preach. Let him preach.
When you've got Lubo, you don't come for me too.
Yeah, I'll take everyone. I'm not bothered. I'll tell you the truth. For me, we can't be saying we need to sign all the. Why are we signing Semenyo when we've got your Odegaard? Why are we looking for a striker when we've got your Tell? Why are we doing it? We have got 80 million worth of talent sitting there.
Because I'll tell you what. No, you still need to improve the first team now. But the point that Lubo was making was, I think he's spot on, is that there is a pecking order in the politics of football, and you're not going to be able to go and get. If Semenyo wants to go to Liverpool, you're not going to go and get him, right? So you either hope that there's enough supply of top talent that are out there that even after Liverpool eat their food, and even after Arsenal eat their food, then there's still enough scran left over for Tottenham to go and get a player that improves. But at the same time, you have to have one eye on the future, and you hope that you've gone and bought these players young enough, the top talents that are young enough. Look what Crystal Palace did.
I disagree. So disagree. I'm sorry, man. I completely.
Tell me why I'm wrong, and I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you why you're wrong. You're wrong because we buy all these youth players. No, that's what we do with our youth. We try and bring our youth through. That's what you should be doing. You go out and buy talent that is good enough to be in the first team that's young. I mean, for me, we said Yildiz earlier. That's somebody you should be getting. So if we signed a Yildiz, what happens to Tell and Odegaard then? Because they're young. So what does that mean for them?
They still play.
No, they don't.
You're playing twice a week.
That's why we're losing.
You have to rotate. What are you saying, James? You go and get a Semenyo and he plays every minute of every game. Is that what you're saying?
Well, if with the options on the bench are Odegaard and Tell, I'll play him every minute. I'll run that guy into the ground.
Odegaard is our best player in the last month. What are you talking about?
No, I think Vicario was our best player in the last month. But I'll let you have that.
Are we gonna win a league title with Odegaard though? That's the question, isn't it? Will he suffice for now to keep us ticking? Yes. Are we going to win a league with Odegaard? We're not.
Yeah, the current version of Odegaard, no, right? But the version of Adam Wharton that rocked up to Crystal Palace is not the same version as the Adam Wharton you see today. There's things called improvements, right? People learn, they get better over time. So you have to bring in players, and I agree with everyone's sentiment that you bring in players that are immediate improvements. But you're going to find enough time in the calendar and the schedule to give other players, and with their coaching, which apparently Thomas Frank is supposed to be a specialist at doing, and Cochrane, that these players also improve. Like, you can't always just buy players that are 27 years old that are worldies at the moment. You have to have one.
So why not spend the 30 million on Odegaard towards a better quality, established, proven player, and that 30 million that we don't spend on Odegaard, bring through a Mikey Moore and say, right, I'm going to coach you because you're not.
Yeah.
Why not do that instead? But we don't do that.
Because our youth team 2 years. If our youth team was developing the players that Arsenal's youth team are developing, we might be able to do that, but we don't. We haven't. And this is again, this will be borne out in the facts later on when Lubo brings up the financial data over the last 6 years of Arsenal versus Tottenham in terms of net spend versus total spend. And you'll see.
Do you not think you've been a bit unfair asking Frank to take somebody like here to the top level? Why don't we go buy people that are like here and then improve them like there?
Because those players cost 80 million quid in this market, and you can't spend that much money. You can't buy 4 or 5 80 million pound players in the same window.
Well, Toe and Odegaard was 80 million pounds. So are we saying we
spent 50 million on Brennan Johnson, man. 65 million on Richarlison. 60 million on Solanke. 180 million pounds. It's 180 million pounds.
Odegaard and Tell. What was Tell? 40 million.
Hang on a second. This is what people always do, right? I noticed this when I first came to the YouTube community, when people would conflate Eric Dyer and Ben Davies. Right, and they do it with Odegaard and Tell all the time. Right, they're different players. They're different players. They will appreciate, improve, or regress in their own right. Let's stop. And now Stelios is going to a mad one, saying like, let's bring in Johnson into the conversation to make out like because Odegaard, like it's a failed transfer on Odegaard because we're also including players like Johnson, Richarlison, and Solanke, where we spent 200 million.
How we waste money. I'm showing how we waste money.
We have wasted money. For sure, we wasted money on Richarlison. For sure, Brennan Johnson, in my opinion, wasn't worth 55 million quid. But Solanke's been injured. But in his first season, he got 24. He got 24 GA in his first season.
GA? How many goals did he score as a striker?
Scored 16 still.
16 in his first season.
16. How many in the Prem? Hang
on a second. How many players in the Premier League scored more than 20 goals last season?
How many did he score in the Prem?
9?
No.
10?
65.
Elite.
It's his first season.
Van de Ven is on course to break that record by the end of January.
Okay, so what? So that wasn't wasted money, was it?
But I've never mentioned Van de Ven.
No, I know. So you're cherry picking the examples that suit the narrative. Because you want to make
just give you an example.
Tottenham bought a young. No, hang on, because Mickey van der Ven's a perfect example of the counterbalance to your argument. We went out and bought a 30 million pound player, 35 million pound player. That was a young kid that not many people had heard of. And right now, you guys would be saying, why not go out there and try and buy yourself
from day
one, Gay or a Virgil Manchester. You've gone and bought a player. You've gone and bought a player that. What?
From day one, we saw Van de Ven was different, man. From day one, when he played for
Spurs, one didn't even have good stats in the Championship, but one was playing for Wolfsburg. There's levels. This is what I'm saying about going out and buying a youth that's actually good, rather than taking punts on youth that's crap. That's exactly my point. You go out and you go right.
Odegaard is not crap. If you think
crap.
Odegaard's crap.
What's Billy's take on this? Because Billy's been quiet. I want to hear what.
I think Odegaard's a really good young winger. I really do. And I think when Semenyo was 20 years old, he was at Newport. When Semenyo was Odebear's age, he was at Newport. Odebear's playing in the Premier League, so I think he's a good young winger. I still want to improve on him and sign a quality winger, but I think you're not going to find, a 20-year-old winger playing in the Premier League. That's fine, but the problem is he's our starting winger, and that's the problem. The problem is not Odebear. The problem is he's our only option on the left wing. So, yeah, I want to upgrade him, but I wouldn't sell him. I think that's a decent 20-year-old winger. Yeah,
I wouldn't sell him, no, but I don't think he's good.
Semenyo was at age at
You
Newport.
wouldn't sell him.
We should get nothing for him. It's a £30 million loss.
I'd sell him.
Well, firstly, he's 25 million. So let's bring the price tag.
Oh,
down.
sorry.
That's the first thing.
Dang.
And secondly, he's
Sorry.
20 years old. He's 20 years old. Players develop at different ages.
You said
Come
this
on.
about Archie Gray. We're still waiting. Luke.
Don't worry about Archie Gray still. You don't have to worry about him. He'll be
So
fine.
shouldn't we as my question to you, shouldn't we as Tottenham fans
Yeah.
judge them for playing for Tottenham? Not if buts, but he's only this age. He's only that age. Oh, he could be good in 5 years. He's playing for Tottenham, so I'm going to judge him as a player for Tottenham. Not his age, not where he's from, not anything. I judge you for your performances on the pitch, and he is not good enough.
He
How
turned the
many
game
GAs
around.
you got this
He turned the
season?
game around against Man United though, and scored in the
Yeah,
game
but,
before.
yeah,
that, so.
so Brendan Johnson has done that, but it doesn't mean that he's done 1 or 2 good games. But it doesn't mean he's very good. For me,
We've
you have
got
to-
scorer last season, mate. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
We've gone from Ginola to Gareth Bale to Heung-min Son to Odegaard.
When Gareth Bale was 20, people would sell him to Nottingham Forest. So
Just those names, right? Just those Son,
20 years old.
Bale, Ginola,
He's
and
20
you lot
years
think Odegaard. You think Odegaard's going to do
Still,
that?
that's not.
I don't
That's
see it.
not apples
I
for
don't see it.
apples. You're not saying Ginola 20-year-old, Bale 20-year-old.
I don't care how old he is. I don't care. I look at what are you doing
You
for
should
my
care.
club.
There's context there.
The context is what are you doing for my club? I saw what Ginola did for us. I saw what Bale did for us, and I saw what Son did for us. Odegaard, I don't think he's rubbish. He's not for me that player.
You're
And I'm
flip-flopping,
talking about-
mate, because it literally, for the last 6-7 weeks of my experience,
He's the
with
best
you,
of what we've got, Sean. He's the
you've been
best of
saying
what
play
we've
him
got.
every week.
Because he's the best of what we've got.
Right.
Who's he up against? Richie? Tell.
We are all in
That's
agreement,
it,
though.
isn't it?
We're having an argument about things that are like, we're all in agreement that we should bring in someone that's better than Odebear, but that Odebear should play the kind of learning curve, the second fiddle guy. But when he does, that's a good thing. Manchester City have brilliant players that are 20 years old that if you guys were judging them based on their counterparts that are 26 that are worth 100 million quid, you'd be saying they're shit and they should be sold. But you have to have one eye on the present and one on the future. We all agree that there should be a better left winger, but Flower, James, you don't. It's donuttery
Talking
of the
facts,
highest
mate.
order.
Talking
Guys,
facts.
James,
Every week we
listen.
moan about how bad the front three is. Every single week, and now we're trying to protect it a bit.
hang on. James, what was your value in the plumbers transfer market at 20 and what was your value at 25, 26?
I was always valued highly because I was always overpriced. No, but
Okay,
for me,
I can ask you a question,
so,
guys.
so no, wait, hold on, Lubo, let me answer that. I come in your house at 20, yeah, put a hole in your water tank and leave. Are you going to go, he's only 20, he'll learn? Or are you going to go, fuck me, my house is falling down? What are you going to say?
Odebear hasn't put a hole in your house.
No,
Odebear
he
hasn't put a hole in your house.
He's
What are you
made my eyes
talking about?
bleed. Continuously made my eyes bleed. It's dreadful. He's
Your
had
eyes bleed, isn't he?
one good
What are we
half an
doing here?
hour. It's one good half an hour. And we're talking about him like he's the next Ronaldinho.
No, we're not.
Prove
No one's
it.
talking about him.
Prove it.
James, do you know how crazy this is? Every week, Lubo, without fail, no matter what Frank does, defends him to the high heels and blames the quality of players. Now he's telling me about Odegaard. He's the same players you slam every week.
My question is, Frank is having to play this defensive football, Mr. Lubo, because our attack is crap.
Correct.
But
It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And I've said that all along.
So look, Lubo.
Hang on, James, Odebear is learning. Richarlison, Johnson, Solanke, not for me.
What I would say then is
Muani, yes. Kudus, yes.
For me, well, then that's a good front three. Then it's got to be Frank out. In your opinion, that's a good front three. If your opinion, Odebert, Muani, and Kudos is a good front three, then Frank out, because our defensive football, because we've got a crap attack that relies on the manager. Then we're failing to score goals. Then the manager should be doing better.
Well, Moani's hardly played, and Odebert's just coming into his own. He's 20 years old, so give him a chance.
Better and better every week, which is why I've called him Heisen there, because it's not only what he can do, right? Not only can he cook, right? It's because he is Mr. Chemistry. He's Mr. Wavelength. He's a dot connector, a matchmaker. He brings other people into the play. Listen, I'm worried in the direction of this show. If you've got people like James Flower coming on, I know you're trying to make a statement, mate. I know you're trying to make a name, and I get it. But you're coming on, it's donuttery of the highest order. What I want to do, guys, I want to move on to the next story, which is I've got a chance here for Stel to make even more, like to take over the Captain Donut of tonight's show. Once we talk about the next man, which of course is Kolo Muani. I want to come to Billy T first.
0 goals scored. 0.
And in about 0 minutes as well. I want to come to Billy T first, but before I do, I just want to give a little bit of credit to the last man who was on, the last man who stepped up, which was Perchy. Right, last week Perchy came in, he put his head above the parapet, he got cooked in the early moments by Stel, and I just want to say, like, you know, we are going to always maybe make a reference back to the previous week's guests. So Billy, Flat, James, what you guys say tonight might be referenced next week. But an interesting update happened in the world of Perchy. I've got a fifth channel. You know, I've got more channels than a psychic. And on this particular conspiracy show channel, just the other night, Perchy's girlfriend came on the show. And if you know Perchy likes to pretend like he's heard about some 17-year-old wonder kid out of Slovakia. He knows all about this kid out of, you know, Samu Agahawa. He knows all of his stats, why he'd be a brilliant fit, why everybody else is in the mud. I mean, I was concerned. I was like, does this guy really spend all of his time watching Hungarian third division football? I asked Susie when I had the chance, and this is what happened.
The biggest conspiracy I want to know is if Perchy does in fact watch Portuguese Division 2 football. That's what I want to find out. That's the conspiracy that's been bothering me for a long time.
Perchy's been pretending for a long time that he watches Hungarian League 3. In reality, he just drops onto Football Manager for 5 minutes and goes and has a look through the...
Yeah. What does he say?
Now we know the truth.
Yeah, Susie, can we spend 5 minutes outing the biggest?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, he's a fraud.
You live in Perchy, right? You live in Perchy, don't you?
Majority of the time.
Yeah. But do you ever have to take the remote control off of Perchy and say, enough of Portuguese second division football, Perchy? I just can't stand it anymore. Does that ever happen? No, I didn't think so.
Yes, I knew it.
He's completely outed. He's completely outed.
He's a fraud. I knew it. Okay, back to aliens. Thanks, Susie. My job is done. My job is done. Perchy, you're finished. You are finished, my friend.
So that's what happens. It's a small world, the old YouTube community. You might be talking about aliens 1 minute, and the next minute you've been outed by your own girlfriend for how little football you watch and how all of your data stuff comes from Football Manager. It's an interesting world. Perchy, we love you, mate. We miss you. Come back soon. Billy, I want to get you in first on this one as we move into the next segment of the show. Kolo Muani, a man that Stelios has written off as absolutely shit.
No. Fake news.
Well, it's not really. I've got this.
I said he shit. No, you've cherry picked a section of the chat. He shit in front of goal. In front of goal, he's been crap.
That was the first thing. That was the first thing that you. That was the first thing.
Get the whole chat up.
I can bring the whole chat up if you want. I can bring the whole chat up.
Bring it. Yes, do it. In front of goal, he is fucking shit. In front of goal, he's been dog.
I've got the WhatsApp. I'm scared about other things being dragged in, but that was.
Right. Can't bring it up now, can you? Can't bring it up.
You know what? Okay. You know what? I'm going to come to Billy T and ask him, and then whilst I go around the houses here, I'll bring it up the chat. Billy, Kolo Muani apparently has been training all week this week in the Mask of Muani. It's been seen before in North London derbies. Harry Kane scoring the winner wearing the Mask of Zorro. Kolo Muani, jaw mask, a little bit different. Do you think this is going to be something that will manifest into reality? Do you actually think Kolo Muani might actually play with a fractured jaw wearing a mask? What's your take on that whole story, buddy?
Well, I think there'll be a few people in North London that could do a jaw mask at the weekend after what's obviously going to be going on behind the scenes. But and before I carry on, I just want to say I've got to go at 9. But it's been an absolute pleasure being on with you guys. I really would love to get back into the Odebear debate on another time. But I agree with Stel. I think he's good at link-up play. Good at linking up with Xavi Simons. He's a player with the most passes to Xavi Simons this season. Do I want him in front of goal against Arsenal? I don't think he's good enough for that. So I think it's a bit of a worry. But he's not a goal scorer. He's a good link-up player. And I think, the last time we had that was Soldado. So it's a shame. I would like if he was a bit more ruthless in front of goal. I think we'd have a real player there. But I can't see it. He's not someone I can see him being in the team and scoring a hat-trick at the weekend. So that's what I think.
Get Billy on the show more often. We need a bit of common sense on this channel.
Not just common sense, but that line just completely slipped through the radar of the chat. Jaw masks needed around North London on Sunday, 100%. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Exactly.
Do you want to take this moment to jump out? Because if I go around the houses,
And real pleasure being on, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Billy.
Cheers, Billy. Absolute legend, mate. We'll get you on again soon. Thanks, buddy. Absolute legend. Let's go. I'll start with. I'll reverse engineer this one. Stel, Kolo Muani, mate. So I'm gonna get the whole chat up right now. If you really want me to.
I don't think he's going to play on the weekend, Sean. I think it's too much of a risk because if he's recovering from a fractured jaw, he needs a little bit more recovery time before he starts wearing the mask and running around. Because what happens if he just gets one elbow in the face? Because he's still in that recovery stage. He's fragile. So I wouldn't risk it because we don't have all we've got now is Richie. Scarlett's not getting to get a look in. Frank's made it clear Scarlett has no business at this football club. He just sits on the bench for show. So it really is now Richie, maybe Tell, actually. We still got Tell, but Muani was meant to be our main man, wasn't he? That's why they brought him in. So yeah. I would just give him a few more weeks and then do the face mask thing. I think it's way too risky to bring him back this quick, in my opinion. But I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physio. They know more than me. I just think I think it's too soon, personally.
Lubo, what are we saying, mate? If it's not Kolo Muani
on Sunday,
this is for Sunday. Yeah, this is the Matt Law said it, right? Matt Law said that he has been training. Is this 4D chess by Tottenham to try to make Arteta think? We've got to spend a little bit of time contemplating how do we handle Muani, or is it legit that he might actually be back?
You look at it logically and you think it's a bit too soon. Or does he want to be on the bench at PSG? I don't know. It's I don't see him being in the 20 on Sunday. I see Richarlison starting, and I think Tell will be the sub for Richie. That's how I see it going. It's a real shame. I like Muani as a footballer. Every player misses chances. The header against the other week against Copenhagen should have absolutely buried. But players miss chances. They all do. And unfortunately, that he did. I remember in Angie's second game of when he joined, first home game, Man United, Rashford and Bruno missed chances from 6 yards, headers, put them over the top in the first half. It happens. When he comes back, I think he'll do a good job for us. I think he'll get 10, 15 goals, hopefully, when he gets back from December, which will probably be December. I think he'll be fine. But I think Sunday's too soon.
Yeah. I tend to agree, to be honest. I think you're right, Lubo and Stel. I don't agree with your opinion, Stel, on Kolo so far. I think he's got a lot more to offer. I'm not sure if he's happy. I'm not sure why, if he really wanted to be at Tottenham, but I think there's definitely a player in there. And it's a shame what's happened to him. He's had a torturous early stage, James. What is your take, mate? Do you think that there's any chance, there's any truth to the idea that if not for Fulham, is there like the fact that Tottenham haven't replaced him in the Champions League squad and brought in Matisse Tell? Because Matisse Tell could be playing on Wednesday at PSG if Muani was genuinely out for 8 weeks, right? Because if you make that Swansea in the Champions League squad, as soon as you get the fractured jaw notification, that diagnosis, then you bring in Matisse Tell, he has to be out for 60 days. So the fact that hasn't happened, does that give more credence or less credence to the idea that Kolo Muani might actually play, maybe Sunday's too soon, but Wednesday or Fulham or something? Maybe they figured out a way to let him play earlier than we all thought.
So I mean, the fractured jaw part is probably the most important sentence there, because how bad is it? Do you know what I mean? Like, it could be like a little fracture where some sort of mask or Bane mask or whatever you want to do, it could be okay as long as it covers it. For me personally, the one thing that I think he's a good footballer. I actually do think he's a really good, tidy footballer. I just don't think he's very good in front of goal. I don't think he's got that killer instinct, if that makes sense for me. I don't think he's, and by saying that, there were certain players, referencing like Jermaine Defoe, he would miss all the time, but then he'd go and bag a hat-trick because he was just relentless at that right touch finish. I don't know how much of a killer he is, but the way he turned up that overweight and that out of shape, I almost think that he's got a point to prove and actually turn up with a bit of an injury and say, look, I want to fight for the team. I want to be a part of the team. I want to be involved here. Rather than just sort of, I'm not saying taking the easy way out because we don't know how bad the injury is, but if he just kind of sat there and said, I'm not ready for another 3 or 4 weeks or whatever, then I would be a bit like, okay, I could see where this is going. If he's not back soon, then you might as well get rid of him in January because he's on loan.
Yeah. So, okay. So, well, sorry, you're saying send him back to PSG, you're saying?
Yeah, so if he's out for another whatever they said, 6 or 8 weeks, that's now like coming into January or close to it. If this guy needs another 2 months to get up to speed, we're now sort of talking February, March time before we've got a striker and then the season's over. I would rather send him back and go and get a striker if that's what we're looking at. We're all hypothetical here because we don't know.
He can still stay physically fit, right? Like he can still. Can still participate in training, just not participate in aerial threats and those sorts of things. I think what I worry about is if he was to start, even if it's not Sunday, but just use Sunday as an example, right? If there's truth in the idea that he's training with a mask on, with the intention maybe to play on Sunday or maybe to play in PSG, and the fact that we haven't replaced him in the Champions League squad with Matisse Tell, it kind of gives more leverage towards that. What I would worry about is whether or not with it, like if you know that Muani's in the starting 11, even if you didn't know that he was going to start, but then you get the team sheet an hour before kickoff and you're an opposition manager, the first thing I would do, if I'm a manager, the first thing I do is go and say to your centre back, you give him a little, like smash into him, like knock him off balance, whatever, make him a little bit uncomfortable, make that jaw hurt a little bit, and then he'll be thrown off axis. And a player that's off kilter isn't just then off kilter for the things if there's an aerial chance, he's also off kilter if the ball falls to his feet. So I just feel like it's that there's an opportunity for the opposition to take advantage. But in terms of like cancelling his loan, first of all, I don't know if that's even possible because PSG didn't want to even, they didn't want to pay his wages, right? So, but yeah, I just think that the bigger problem for me is if we're considering him playing whilst he's got a fractured jaw, it's not like it's your nose. That your nose is like pretty stable, whereas your jaw is going to be moving throughout the game, isn't it? Because you're going to be talking, you're going to be.
Yeah, but for me, and I'm just trying to play hypothetical here. I do agree, but for me, where we're saying he's going to stay fit. There's one thing being fit and there's one thing being match fit and then Premier League fit. I think this is why, look, and I'll stick up for Odegaard here. This is why I think you're going to start seeing an increase now, because last year he was injured and it's going to take him 15, 20 games to get up to the speed of the Premier League. So for me, if Muani's going to be out for 2 months, you're now talking January. If we give him a couple of months to get up to speed, you're now talking March. Do we do that with somebody else's player, or do we go out? Like, you know, these owners are screaming at us saying we're going to go big, and David Ornstein saying they're ready to go big or splash or whatever it was. So for me, if you're going to go big, we just spoke about Mikel Arteta, Aubameyang, out you go. Lacazette, out you go. If we are going to go big, is Frank going to say, look, this guy ain't going to be ready till March. He's got to go. Like at some point as a club, we are going to come across that step. For me, he's miles better than both Richarlison and Solanke. But if you're going to come across something at some point, there's going to be a few decisions made that fans ain't going to like.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. No, I'm just not sure that the injury is. It's not like a calf injury where you then you haven't walked or you haven't run. You know, it's a jaw injury, so I'm not sure it's the same thing where even after the injury heals, you're not going to be match fit. I mean, you won't be fit. I mean, I kind of hear what you're saying, but I also kind of disagree with it. As I usually do with you, because you are, Captain Donut, James.
But he signed at the beginning of the season. It took him now to get up to match fit, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
So do we believe or do we trust him to sit on the sidelines or train him for a little bit and keep that match fit, or is he going to go off the ball? I mean, look, it's all proofs in the pudding. I'm just kind of trying to give a different angle, to be honest.
No, I hear you, mate. I hear you. So I think we're pretty much all then in agreement, though, that Sunday is too soon for him. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I would rather him play than Richarlison with half a jaw.
The thing is, at least Richie, a fully fit Richie, will just be horrible towards the Arsenal players. Not that leads to anything, but at least he'll physically will be able to be horrible, whereas Muani won't really be able to put himself around. Let's not forget, guys, it's a North London derby. It's a physical game. It's two teams that don't like each other. You need players in there that are physically going to be fit for this. And
I think Richarlison being physical is the biggest myth in football history. The guy backs up into a defender. The defender touches him and he falls over. I've never seen him be physical for Tottenham. Well, at least not his City. Every time he's touched, he rolls over. I can't remember when was the last time he was physical and had it out with a defender and proper went for it. Other than after he's been rolling over, he gets up and then.
When a ball comes in the box, he will jump up and go for it. Whether he connects or not is different. Whereas Muani, as soon as he jumps, he's going to be thinking my jaw, so he might not go in 100%.
Yeah, I agree.
So then should we? Then would we not rather someone like Tell instead of Richarlison? I would, and I don't rate Tell.
I think Tell and Xavi Simons. I mean, we're going to get into it. I think Tell and Xavi Simons are going to get absolutely bullied in this game.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that in just a second, guys. Let's move on quickly. We're at the hour mark. Let me pause and say thank you to everyone who's put the super chats in and everyone that's been here so far. Please do smash the like, guys. I'm not sure what the likes are at, but I know that they could be better. There's 660 people here, so we should be on at least 350 likes, give or take, right? So if you haven't already, then please do find the ability to just drum the thumb. It costs nothing and it really helps the channel out. Let's do some super chats and then we'll move into Lubo, your section, mate. You wanted to talk about some finances as we lead into Arsenal. Let's consider and compare to Arsenal what's happened between the two clubs in the last 6 or 7 years. Blaine, big up to you, Blaine. You sent this in right at the very start of the show. He says, Perchy, you play nice tonight. Can't be upsetting folk, you hear? I think this must have been put in before you knew that Perchy was before you didn't realise that Perchy was not going to be on. So I buried Perchy in his absence, probably a little bit underhand, but you know what? That's what we do. That's what we do. And I know Perchy's laughing. I know Susie is too. Big up to you though, Blaine. Thank you very much for the super chat, my man. We've got a new member of the show. Big up to you, Mark Adams. Thank you very much indeed. We are going to be doing some member content at some point. We're trying to figure it all out. Yeah, we're all super busy, but we are, member content's coming. Thank you so much for your support of the show, Mark. Appreciate you. Ulrika Johnson has started the choo-choo train, the super sticker train, and with that, we give her the choo-choo. Big up to you. Big up to you indeed. Choo-choo to you, Ulrika. Thank you very much for your support, as always, on all the channels. Very supportive. Get out of the bath, dry your bits, put yourself a G&T, and lock in to the Spurs 5. Eamon O'Shea, big up to you, Eamon. He says, big up, guys. Big up to you, Eamon. You sound like you've got an Irish name. If you have, then congratulations on your boy Troy Parrott, our kind of boy Troy Parrott, and his unbelievable performance in midweek. Big up to you, buddy. Thank you very much. And Phil Coy's member for 1 month. We got some membership super chats. We don't often get them because we're just getting into it, but we got them now. Spurs 5. The only way we get anything out of the North London derby is by approaching it the same way as PSG. Following that, our away form gives us hope. Thank you so much, Phil. Appreciate you very much indeed, mate. We're going to be talking about the Arsenal game in the second hour right now. And that's the best little intro and segue into it. But before we get into the specifics of the game, Lubo phoned me earlier and said that he'd be digging up some numbers, Lubo. I'm going to hand over to you, mate, let you host for the next 10 minutes or so. Talk us through it, buddy.
Okay, interesting. Today is the 6th anniversary from the worst decision Levy, for me, ever made in his 25 years, which was sacking Maurizio Pochettino. A week later, Unai Emery got bounced out of the Emirates and Arteta came in. Since then, Arsenal still got Arteta, and we have had Jose, Nuno, Conte, Ange, Frank, Stellini, and Mason twice, doing, I think Mason 3 times actually, because he took over after Jose as caretaker manager. In that time, the figures I heard today were net spend. Arsenal spent 741 million and we've spent 660 net spend, which I'm checking because I've just been through all the transfers listed on Transfer Market, and up to this season, just talking about Takai, two loan fees of I think 5 million each. Takai was 5, is 15, and you had Kudus and Xavi Simons, which was another 110. So you got 125 million. So we have spent, starting with the January when Jose was in, and we bought the Celso and Bergwijn for 63k in total, but Lo Celso originally came on loan, and we brought in, we missed out on Bruno Fernandes, and we brought in Gedson Fernandes on loan. That was a blinder. That's how 6 years of transfers started.
Lubo, are you intending to go through every single transfer one by one?
I'm not. But the difference is, and yes, and the question came up, in 6 years, who's been the most successful? Arsenal won 1 FA Cup, Spurs won 1 Europa League. So in terms of trophies, you could probably say that Spurs have had the better, because our trophy is a higher ranked trophy. But if you're talking about setting up the club and setting it up properly, looking long term, you look at where Arsenal are with their squad, and you look at where we are with our squad.
But you said 741 million net spend for Arsenal.
Yeah,
660
for
whatever
us.
for us. Do you have the numbers there on? Just sorry, Stel, one quickly. Do you have the numbers on total spend?
Well, I saw the spend for us is about 800 million. I think Arsenal was the figure I've been quoted twice in the press in the last few months was around 1.1 billion. So Arsenal were actually selling their players as well, and we're not. I'm not sure about the 660 because I've worked out we've spent 800, and if you
Lubo, what's the point you're making here? Just because I get all the finances and the transfer, what's the point you're making?
The point I'm making is that This, for me, has shown the difference. Let's just talk 6 years now between the Cronkies, who after the Super League debacle sent Josh in and they wanted to win trophies, and us, who are now just starting, hopefully, to become a team that want to compete.
They've won fuck all.
That's fine.
Yeah, but I think the argument is that there's not that much difference, right? If Tottenham over 6 years have spent £110 million a year net, and Arsenal have spent 60 million, and they've spent more than they spent 100. So £10 million a year additional spend net per year between Arsenal and Tottenham. Yeah. And I guess the challenge is, yes, you're right, Stel, they haven't won anything, but they've been knocking on the door, like strongly knocking on the door.
Poch was knocking on the door on far less money.
No,
but since Poch, I think this is since Poch.
This is the 6 years since today's when Poch.
What's the wage bill in those eras of Arteta and us hiring Jose? What's the wage bill difference?
Well, this comes back to my point that I'm very hopeful now that we've turned the corner. Why have we spent similar money to Arsenal and our squad is nowhere near as strong?
We spent money on Dross. I'm not including. I'm not going to placate James here with Odebear and Tell, but we spent Dross on Richarlison. We spent a lot of money on
Johnson, on Solanke. I mean, that's 152 million.
Surely it's because when Arsenal started the project, they meant project. Whereas when Spurs say project, it ends within 12 to 18 months. It's not really a project. It's a myth. 7 managers, that's not a project. That's HS2. We are HS2. They're the real deal.
That's right. That's right.
I think the other major difference there, though, just to give some balance as well, is that when our 6 year period started, it also started with £1 billion of debt from a new stadium, whereas Arsenal moved into their stadium in 2008, and so that by the time that their 6 year period started, they were pretty much debt free or nearly debt free until the Cronkies came in and then paid off the rest and injected capital. So it's not the same starting point, but I don't think Arsenal have wasted money on players to the same level that Tottenham have.
The best era we had in the Premier League was Redknapp and Poch. Redknapp was there for 4 years. Poch was there for 5 years. Every other manager got maximum 18 months. That's the difference. We never stick with the manager and actually back that project. Never. We just don't do it.
So you can see still, we talk about wages. Arsenal go and pay their players higher wages. They go and buy better players. You know, Spurs have been held back.
They keep the manager.
They keep the manager, correct. And for me, again, goes back to my 7-point manifesto. Hopefully now, if you're watching Vinay, please put right everything that went wrong for 25 years. Put it right, you and the kids, and let's see Spurs start competing. Because when you look at Arsenal, Gabriel's injured, they'll bring in Hincapi. If Mickey's injured, if he's fit, Davis comes in. And that's just ridiculous. I think it's crazy because he's the only other left-footed centre.
We've got Dragutin, we've got Danzo.
We haven't got Dragutin. Danzo on the left in Bodo Glimt was just dreadful still. He can't play on the left side. He is a right-sided centre-back. So, you know, if you're looking about a natural left-footed centre-back, they bring in Hincapi and we've got Ben Davies. And that sums up.
I think we only got 5 left-wingers, left-footed players in the football club.
Who we have?
Mickey van der Ven, Decky, Kudus, who is probably Ambi Pedal, Ben Davies, and Udogie.
That's it. There's been no thought. You know, we've had Hitchens for 2 years, Paratici for 2 years, who started to put right things, and then you've had Lang for 2 years, and the whole thing's been an absolute shit show. And that's why I'm just delighted. Levy's gone. Joe Lewis has confirmed that he is not coming back into and getting busy with the football club. He is now out of Tottenham. So those two are out.
No, he's not. No.
They are out. They are out. He's actually said, still, he's 88. Do you think he would want to get involved with the football? Seriously?
Then sell your shares. Give up your shareholdings.
No, come on.
Real talk. Give up your shareholdings then. Give them up. If you're out, give up your shares.
Well, the shares are in the trust, and the kids are running it. So at the
So
end
he's
of the
got
day,
he's got no affiliation or whatsoever any legal access to those shares. Is that what we're saying?
he's not actively involved in Tottenham Hotspur
That's
Football
not the
Club.
question I asked.
No, that's the answer I'm giving you because that's the fact.
So therefore, if he has
listen.
legal access to those shares, you are not going to convince me he has no say. Just like Levy doesn't have any say with his 30% shareholding. I'm not having it. I'm not hearing this.
Well, we'll listen. We'll see. Time will tell.
It's a nice projection. It's a pretty picture to show us. At the end of the day, the business is owned by the shareholders. Who are the shareholders?
Let's see. Let's see.
I think it's terrible.
The transfer window opens in 6 weeks. Let's see what transpires.
With what you were saying there about the whole, about building a project and sort of sticking with things, and it's a process. I mean, there's a lot of people already calling Frank out, which is crazy. For me, they get a season, but I mean, I know a lot of Arsenal fans were calling out Arteta, but is our board going to listen to the fans like they do all the time after one dodgy year and sack the manager, or are they going to say no, this is our guy? Because I think Arteta, was it 2 or 3 bad years he had in a row? Wasn't he like eighth continuously?
Eighth, seconds.
And that was with selling their best players and buying players. So if we was to go and sell, or not their best players, but big name players, if we was now to say no to Polinia, sell a Romero, sell an Udogi, and then drop down the table, are you going to stick with Frank? Because at some point, we are all going to have to put on our big boy pants and our helmets and just go to war and leave it. You're going to have to, at some point, make that commitment, whether it's Frank or the next guy or the next guy. It always starts like this, barring Ange, who had a 10-game freak at the start of the season. But at some point, we're going to have to say, you know what? It's not going to be a one season. The first season is going to be getting rid of half, getting a few in. The next season is going to be getting rid of more, getting a few in. But realistically, for me, if you're going to be sort of going down that project route, you need 3 years before you start to see anything. Are we all, and I include myself in that, prepared to wait 3 years seeing nothing with the prices we pay? I mean, I don't go to every game, but I still buy kits for the little ones, and now over 100 quid for an 11-year-old kit. It's madness. So are we happy with that, knowing that we're going to be on this bumpy road? At what point are we all going to say...
Do you know what it will come down to, right? And the same thing happened at Liverpool and Arsenal with their rebuild. The same thing happened. If the football doesn't improve in terms of what we're watching, he's toast. The only reason Arteta survived his second season was because of lockdown and COVID. The year after that, though, Arsenal, that season, their third season under Arteta, the football they played was dynamite. They were brilliant that season. They won nothing, but their football was on point. And that's when the fans began to say, right, let's go with this. Same with Klopp. Once Gengen press kicked in and they're getting to European finals, losing league title campaigns, falling short. Same with Spurs. If we don't see a Harry Redknapp or a Pochettino-esque style of play, I think our fans will just say, get out. See you later. That's
the point I've been making. I'm not in any way, shape, or form Thomas Frank out.
I'm not saying I agree with it, Sean. I'm saying that's what I think will happen.
I agree with you 100%. Like, it's a results-based business until the results are not enough. And the owners will always use the manager as a shield. Always. And if you happen to have a fan base that demands some level of attraction, some level of competitiveness that also comes with the pretty football. If you're delivering, like right now, we're delivering competitive football, but we're not delivering pretty football, and the murmurings of discontent are already there. It's like, and I hear the people that are in the fan base, or at least in the online space, that are saying, what more can he do? Give him time. We do this every time, But yeah, I get it. I 100% get it. But the facts are the facts. It's not the fans. Like, none of us actually have the ability to pull the trigger or to drop the sword on the manager. But if enough people feel a certain way, and the fans start booing after every home game because you're drawing 2-2s and 1-1s, but you're not playing, you're not You're not trying to entertain in any way, shape, or form. It's gladiator rules. You know, you can win the fight, but if the crowd boo, the geezer puts his thumb down. Caesar puts his thumb down, and you die anyway. And that's the
Good
people
point.
say it's a results-based business, but it isn't. It's a results-based business as long as the fans are happy. And if the fans aren't happy, the fans will dictate, and the owners will always will always drop the sword, and we'll use the manager as a shield. 100%.
Our owners have got to do what Ratcliffe did. And Ratcliffe turned around and said, Amarin's got 3 years, finished, not having any of this nonsense. He's got 3 years. And all of a sudden, since then, United's results have started coming together. The players he's bought, he only bought one in last January. I think he came in November. He bought Dorgo in January, and he's bought 3 or 4 players this summer. And it takes time to build your own system, to have the players playing it the way you want them to play. And, you know, these things don't take 5 minutes. All the top managers, all the most successful managers, go back. Even go back to Spurs when they won the double. Bill Nicholson was there 16 years. Wenger was there 21 years. Ferguson was there 24 years. Now, I'm not saying the managers these days are going to last that long. Bring it to modern day. Klopp was there 8 years. Pep's been there, nearly 10? Arteta's been there 6 years. And they are the most successful managers over the last decade. Chelsea have been the anomaly, but they've stopped winning trophies recently.
Yeah, but times have changed, mate. It's no longer just going to the football and what will be will be. There are things like this. There's YouTube channels. There's podcasts. There is so much football now. I think I listen to football and watch football of some sort every single day now. Every single day. Whereas before it would be you'd watch football, you'd watch match of the day, you would talk at the pub, watch football match. Now everything is scrutinised. Everything. So you say 16 years. But 3 years of tripe, you're calling for his head.
James
3 months of tripe.
James, we had 16 managers in 24 years before Levy went, and we won 2 trophies. Now, do we want to be a club that are going to win a couple of trophies every 10, 15 years?
Who was going to win? Which of those managers was going to win a trophy, Lubo?
Sean, the ground has not been built to be a mediocre club. The ground has been built so Spurs can be up there with the European giants. They've not spent 1.2 billion and another 100 million on the training grounds, so we can be finishing, you know, and win the odd trophy. And believe me, you know, in the last 20 years, we've won the same amount of trophies as Wigan, Portsmouth, I think Cardiff.
In the last 25 years, we've won 2 trophies.
2 trophies. Okay.
So the same as Leicester, and then there's 7 teams that have won 1 trophy in that time period, and then there's 5 teams that have won the rest of the trophies.
So do we want to be? We are Spurs. This is Tottenham Hotspur. We should be up with those clubs. We were one of the big 3 or 4 trophy winners up to 2000.
So yeah, but.
Why has Frank been brought in, guys? Why has Frank been brought in? Why is he here? I
think to just get some balance. I think, you know, I always said that Ange was the guy before the guy. Before I knew that Ange was the guy, I said whoever it is that's going to follow Conte. When Conte left, I said whoever that next guy is, he's going to be the guy before the guy, because the club have pivoted to this youth strategy, and it's not going to be baked out soon enough. I think that actually turned out that Ange was the guy that got us a trophy, but I don't think that Thomas Frank will be the guy. I don't.
See,
I think Thomas Frank will rebalance the squad. I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that he has got enough risk profile to take us to the promised land.
Sean, the reason I asked the question is because I don't run Tottenham Hotspur, but if I was running Tottenham Hotspur, I'd reverse engineer it. I'd say, what do I want to achieve? Right, so let's say Premier League. I want to win the Premier League. How long will it take? I look at how other clubs did it. Right, 5 years. What will it take? I write that down. Who's the guy for this project? Then I find my manager. What I think Spurs have done is they've hired a manager. But what do you want? The one thing I've always said about Enoch and Levy is I just don't know what they want. Is it top four? Is it cash flow? Is it to cash out? Do they really want to win trophies or not? What is the aim? I've never looked at Spurs and said there's a plan here. There's a real plan with an end game in sight. That's the only thing I'll say.
I'm sure the ambition is to win is to try to win the Premier League.
But is there a plan, Sean? Is there a well thought out, methodical plan that they're going to stick with?
Yeah, well, I think that
why Frank here? Is he here for top four? Is he here to keep us stable? Is he here to win the league? Is he here to bring through the youngsters so the next manager comes in, inherits the team, and wins the league?
I don't know how you can ever know that, right? Like you don't know until you know. But I think that the club have gone through a process of building out a plan with regards to the youth. But that is not a quick fix. That's definitely not a quick fix. Paratici put in place the building blocks of trying to get that in play, and we're starting to see some of these players emerge. At the same time, though, there has been a massive shift in real time in the ability for players, or in the sort of desires of all football clubs to go and hoover up as much of the young talent as possible. PSR, FFP. The anchoring rule, anchoring the votes today or tomorrow night rather, regarding anchoring. Not that that's going to be an immediate impact, but it's certainly going to place another consideration into the desires and to the directives of the teams around us. And it's not just about what you do, is it? You have to be pivoting and reacting to what other teams are doing. Chelsea hoover up every player they can that's under the age of 21, because they have unbelievable access to capital. And they're doing what they're doing. But you can have the desire to win the Premier League. The reality is that you're competing against nation states. And again,
forget desire. Sean, forget desire. Forget desire. I'm saying a plan. Has someone at the club said, this is what I want us to do. This is how long it should take.
Sure.
And this is how we're going to get there. And this is the guy to lead it. Has that ever been done? I don't think it has. A proper plan.
Still, we've never had that since Enoch bought the club.
I'm sure they want to win trophies. I'm sure they do. But is there a plan? Is there a plan?
So this is what I would say. What I would say on that, and obviously, I think that what Tottenham have previously done has listened to the fans, and probably too much. I.e., Conte plays crap football, get him out, and we need an attacking manager, Ange played too attacking. We need some stability, right? Sack Ange, get Frank in. I think to some degree they've continuously sacked the manager, and I do put a lot of that down to Daniel Levy, because the moment bad form hits, everyone turns on Levy rather than anything else. It's always been scapegoat at Daniel Levy, to be fair. So whether that's wrongly or right,
my guy.
Then he should tell the fans to back off. There's a plan.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what I was going to say. No, that's what I'm saying. Up until now, the only thing that fills me with any confidence is the fact that it actually feels like Daniel Levy's gone, and they're hiring multiple people to do his job. So they're getting somebody in to run the club. They're now getting more and more Paratici back, and seems like they're getting all the right bodies into the right roles rather than rely on Daniel Levy for everything.
Hang on a minute. The only time I ever in my life felt there might be a plan, was when Ange won the Europa and Levy came out and publicly said, I want to win the league. I want to win the Champions League. And I thought, oh my God, is there a plan? Then he left.
He sacked himself.
He didn't leave. He was kicked out. He was kicked out by Lubo's new favourite people.
Because maybe we don't want a plan, and Levy was thinking, maybe we should have a plan.
Yeah,
maybe
Lubo's jumped on the Lewis bandwagon a little bit too soon before they've actually had a chance. Boys, before we go any further, we've got half an hour left of the show. We have got to pivot towards the biggest game of.
Can I just say one more thing on that? Can I just say literally one more thing? If Frank, you said you don't think Frank is the guy to lead us to thingy like the glory or whatever.
I'm not convinced yet. I haven't seen anything to think he's the guy. Yeah.
The thing that I'm worried about, and I don't know if you agree or not, if it's not Frank that stays, I think it's going to be Pochettino that comes back, and I don't know if that's the right idea, to be honest.
But I think the fans will lap it up.
Fans will
absolutely love it. And like I said in a previous answer, the fans ultimately don't have any sway, but in enough momentum, I think that the fans create enough noise if they're to sort of to give the owners enough of the, as I say, it's a results based business until the results aren't enough. Is my point. And I think that with Thomas Frank, the results have been fine, but the performances haven't. And I think if he continues to play on that kind of I'm set up not to lose.com, and I think at home, away from home, do what you got to do. It's irrelevant, but at home, I think if the fan base experience too much more of negative football, then the vocalization of their discontent will eventuate in a situation where the owners are going, you know what, we need to give them what they want. Let them eat cake, essentially. And that will look like I genuinely believe that there is a 50-50 chance that Thomas Frank won't do a bad job at Tottenham. But after the World Cup, he'll be replaced by Pochettino.
Then that's interesting. The next 6 home league games.
What, next season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I genuinely think there could be a chance, because as soon as the World Cup's done, Pochettino will be relieved of his duties in America. The World Cup's done, and I think I'm saying this on the provision that
that will stop the meltdown of Frank being sacked, because it's Poch that's coming in. Makes sense.
Yeah, and the next is interesting. Next 6 home league games are Fulham, Brentford, Liverpool, Sunderland, West Ham, Man City. So it's a real mix.
There's no easy games in the Premier League. I'm just saying, like Tottenham Hotspur, Thomas Frank hasn't done a bad job by any stretch of the imagination. He's weathered an incredibly bad fortune with injuries. He does fantastically well away from home, but at home the football stinks. The football absolutely stinks. And I think that the owners will always listen to the fans. If the fans are booing every time you get a point when you probably could have won, you maybe wouldn't have won. But, and again, this is the problem with the fan base as well in the online space, that like people have this assumption that it's either, you either have to be fully this side or fully that side. And if you happen to be that side where you're defending Thomas Frank at the moment, then the way that you make your point is that you say, what happens if you played more attractive football and then you get smashed every week, as though it's, like the only alternative to open borders is right-wing fascism. Like it's a political argument. No, there's loads of middle ground in the middle of the road. Like there's loads of room for balance, right? In politics, in football, in finance, in every topic. But everyone is like, it's either the best bull market in the history of the world, the AI trade, or it's a giant bubble. Like it's always this kind of dichotomy of like it's one thing or the other. And in football, and Thomas Frank, he could set the team up with a little bit more pro risk without obviously abdicating defensive stability, which is not the same as what Ange Ball did. But people are saying if you don't want Frank, you want Ange Ball, and you weren't happy with Ange Ball, and now you're not happy with Frank, you're never happy. Actually, there's a massive middle ground. How Sunderland operate, how Bournemouth operate, how Crystal Palace operate. There's loads of middle ground where a team like Tottenham can operate, but that the fan base only accept one or the other. And I think that's a problem. But ultimately, the owners will listen to the fans. And if the fans are not satisfied with what they're seeing at home by the end of the season, I genuinely think that he might be relieved of his duties, despite probably having a decent season. And I think that there might be a chance that Pochettino could come in.
And the booing his subs and the booing his subs isn't going to help him either.
You know what? If Poch comes back, maybe he persuades Harry Kane to come back. Then we've got to spend all of next season listening to Lubo telling us, "I told you, you didn't listen to me. I told you so. I told you."
Listen, I think the fans are fed up, not just because the style of football hasn't been great at home. I think the fans are fed up generally. I think apart from the Europa League was brilliant, but over 25 years we've underachieved. We're paying massive prices overall. The football that we've been served up. If you spend top money, you go to a Michelin star restaurant, you have a great you have a great meal. He doesn't put, the owners have not put the top players on the pitch to commensurate with the top prices. So and fans are fed up with that as well. You know, if you get charged big money, you want to see top players out there. You want to see top entertainment, and they're not. And you know, so hopefully, fingers crossed, the new Lewises, Lewis Mark II, will put the money in. You know, and they'll be ambitious, because if they're not, I don't know where we go as a club, honestly, because we've been messing around apart from a couple of years with Poch where we challenged for the league. It's 15, 16, 16, 17. And 1 year with Harry Redknapp where he got us to third at Christmas. And
we start up the protests again. We fire up the machine.
We've never been a title-winning team. We won the title once.
No, but we've been a cup-winning team, Sean, and we're not winning cups. We're winning.
Cup winning is entirely separate to lifting the trophy.
No,
but to that point, we won 8 FA. No, sorry, to lifting the league. We won 8 FA Cups, but we never came close to lifting the league until it was 1961.
We haven't won the FA Cup since 1991, and we were the record holders of winning.
Yeah, I know.
We were the record holders.
We were the kings of the cup. Now we don't even get to the final. Crystal Palace to the FA Cup final.
Crystal Palace won the 1991. Crystal Palace got to the FA Cup final and they won it this year, but they were nowhere near winning the league. So, like, you can either do the kind of, is it Valencia or Villarreal, the team in Spain that basically knows that there's a duopoly of who's going to win the league, and so they put all their eggs into the cup basket, and they go all out for the Europa League. They go all out for the
Seville,
Del Rey, whatever it is.
I don't mind that, by the way. I don't mind doing that. I'm happy with that. But we don't do that. We don't even do that.
Well, that's one option of how you do it.
Well, actually, Ange did it last year. He put all his eggs in the Europa basket.
Right. And what happened to him?
Nobody was happy. Nobody was happy
because Tottenham fans think that we should be challenging alongside the big boys. But let's be honest, there's 3 teams that have always been more successful than us, and they continue to be. And the other 2 teams, Chelsea and City.
What was the point of building that stadium then? Why did we build a £1 billion stadium? What for?
Money.
To be able to close the gap in terms of revenue, but you can't close the gap on the draw of the players until, like, every time that Tottenham are after a monster player, you never get a free run at a player, right? Like, you never do. But every time Tottenham seem to be after a top draw player, there's one of those 5 teams in the Premier League that are also after them.
But surely we can do better than Tell, Odebert, Gray.
For sure.
Players. Surely we can do better than that.
I agree, right? So this is the point I was making in the first instance, in the first answer, the first question of the show. If you're looking for a left winger, I think that this January there's no excuse to not get one, because
I agree.
Even if you want Semenyo and you go, okay, I'm also okay with the fact that he might end up at Arsenal or Liverpool. Fair enough. Let's say he goes to Liverpool. If Arsenal are also after a left winger and they end up getting Rodrigo from Real Madrid, fair enough. I get it, right? Top draw player wants to go to. I think there's an argument that we could get them either way, but if they go there, there's still 5 other top draw left wingers out there that will improve us massively this January. That once Liverpool and Arsenal have they've eaten their food, there's still enough food left over on the table for Tottenham to be able to fill their belly as well, right? Whether that's Yildiz, whether that's Fofana, whether that's Ndai, whether that's Lookman, whoever, right? Or Kubo. I don't think Kubo would suit the Premier League, but whatever. Right, there's enough players out there that Tottenham can still lose out the big boys that you really want to get, the big fish that you might not be able to reel in. Fair enough, but there's no excuse to finish January the 31st without a better left winger than we currently have.
I don't think there's any excuse to be finishing with 2 or 3 players, to be honest. If this whole we believe in this line of everything's changed. Last year we got, a couple of years ago we got Porro. The year before that we got Kulu and Bentancur. If things have changed and we've moved forward, then there's no go and get a Yildiz and an Adeyemi. Like if you're talking about becoming a good team, then do it. But one, I mean, if we sign Semedo, for me, at the end of the January transfer window, nothing has changed for me. I think that is their one, £65 million. That'll keep everyone on board and everything goes back under the carpet again. I think he's a very, very good player, but nothing's changed. If he wants to change it, we need a left winger and a left winger and a striker. We need.
You can't do that in January.
Why? It's only 2 players.
No, it's. Yeah, Tottenham usually do sign 2 players in January, right? But
exactly.
So 2 players possibly, But I'm just saying, like, when people sit there and like 2 players doesn't make us suddenly a title challenger this season, does it?
Agreed.
Even if Tottenham somehow managed to be within 8 points of the Premier League, of the title, by January the 1st, and we finished by January the 31st with Semenyo and Ivan Toney, Ivan Toney won't happen in my opinion. But even if those 2 things happened, like dream world scenario, that's a cracking January window. We're still not going to be able to win the league. That doesn't solve our midfield.
But surely it's a start, or it's a change. If we got Ivan Toney on loan and a Yildiz Adeyemi, he'll come. If we got a Tony on loan, an Adeyemi, and a number 8,
United, James, by the way, Adeyemi.
Oh, of course they are. They're going to loan one of them and sign 2 of them. That's not necessarily pushing all boats out. That's signing 2 players and getting a loan in. For me, there is no excuses for not doing that. If we don't do that, then the club hasn't changed.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. I mean, fair enough. You can. That's fine. That's a fine take. I'm just saying that even if the club has changed, even if these particular owners do want to throw money, even if Ornstein is correct, I think that the expectations around a January window should be 2 players. If we sign 2 players, that's a win-win. That's like an unbelievable window. 2 good players.
Good, yeah.
But it's January, right? So I know we get fed up and saying next season.
We did Benton Kulusevski in one window. We did Porro and a loan deal in a window. And we can sign 1 good player and a loan deal. There's no reason why we can't do that. Sure.
No, that's fine, but it's not going to be. My point is, it's not going to fix all. We can't fix all of our problems in January.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. No,
but they're like what you said, far left, far right. Like they're the extremists again. Then you know what I mean. You could sign Adeyemi, Ivan Toney, and Semenyo, and they'll go, well, we still need a centre mid, we still need a left-sided centre back, so they're always going to be more. But you need to sort of again read the line in between the lines and say, you know what, we've got Kudos, Xavi, Muani's coming on loan, Polinia, and then you kind of go Adeyemi, Semenyo, and whoever. You kind of go, fair.
Yeah,
you've got to be fair.
You bring in the 4 in the summer. I know, like Saba always he always says we didn't do enough in the summer. Like, when was the last summer window when we signed 4 players that are immediate improvements to our first team? Like, it was a good window. Yes, it wasn't enough relative to a perfect what we need to be able to compete. But Rome wasn't built in a day. If you go and get the two first team entrants in January, then over the last 9 months or whatever or 7 months, you have added 6 first team players into the squad. Then that's a phenomenal year of business. And a change in the direction of the club.
Yeah.
But you're still going to need to do it in the summer, and then hopefully next year you close the gap a little bit. But you also have to be wary of the fact that Arsenal have got probably the best depth in Europe, and they'll probably go again in the summer, as will Liverpool, as will City, as will Chelsea, as will United. And so are you relatively closing the gap over a period of time that makes you able to think that you're getting closer to the promised land? The promised land is still 2-3 years away, in my opinion.
So I think every season should be a new goal, and I think top 6 for me is where we should be this season. If we sign 2 players in January, of that ilk that we spoke about, I now believe that top 4 could then be achievable, and that should be the ultimate goal for me. If you was then to try to sign a striker and a left winger of Semenyo's quality, I think then you are then like, it could happen. Top 4 could happen. Not saying it will,
James,
but it could.
Knock out of those 4 clubs. Look how far ahead of us Chelsea were at the Lane the other week. They were miles clear of us.
But that's what so you're telling me if you brought in Semenyo and Adeyemi, that game's not different?
Why do you like Adeyemi so much, by the way?
6th place.
He's so good. He's so good.
Think 6th place for us, I think, is a good season.
But it could be anyone. Ivan Toney and Semenyo. You're telling me in that game we had Ivan Toney, Semenyo, and Kudos. They don't punish Chelsea.
James, they have got so many more better quality players than Spurs have.
I think that front line of those 3 would compete with their front line.
I'm not saying, but this is a squad game, and we're both.
I like it. I personally think our back line's better than their back line. Our front line would be better than our front line, so they'd have the better midfield. Look, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying if you bring in 2 top quality players, for me, then the target becomes top 4. The target.
Okay, fair enough. The target, but if you're looking at how many good players, quality players Chelsea have got, I mean, so still ran through 4 players of a certain level at Spurs in our squad, and then you just about got to 6, 7, 8. Chelsea got 12, 15 of those players, and we've got so many injuries at the moment as well. That unfortunately,
I don't want to hear about injuries. I'm sick of it. Every year, injuries.
There's a drop off. You know, Chelsea just put another player in. They've spent so much money, and they've got so many players there. They just drop another good player in.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they can buy any more. They've still got an imbalance in their squad for the UEFA rules. And look, we're going to find out. There's a massive vote about anchoring and moving to the 85% model. I think it is. Which will take place it's either happening now or it's happening tomorrow, and we'll talk about that on Monday alongside the game that's happening on Sunday. Guys, we're massively over time. I wanted to give us 25 minutes on the Arsenal, but we've got 15 minutes. Very quick 14 minutes. Arsenal Tottenham on Sunday. Still, I'm going to start with you, my man. What is your? I mean, I'll just open it up. Thoughts on the game, buddy? Big game after the international week. How do we go about it? What's your take?
Look, first of all, fans saying that we're going to win are just their heads have gone. They're on some kind of francosexual drug. I don't understand it. We haven't won there in 15 years. Conceded 1 goal at home all season in the league. If there's one thing they're good at, it's defending. If there's one thing we're shit at, it's attacking. We're not winning at Arsenal. I will be absolutely gobsmacked more than ever before if we win there. It's not happening. I think we're going to go there and we're going to get schooled. I think they're going to teach us a lesson. However, I've got no evidence, no logic, no explanation as to what I'm going to say now. Somehow, I think we walk away with the point, and I don't know how. I don't know the score. I don't know who's going to score. I don't know whether it be 0-0, 1-1-2. I think we are going to walk away with the point, an undeserved one, but we won't give a shit. We're going to spend all next week, all the channels moaning performance versus result. It's going to be the big debate next week. And I just think we're going to find a way to just get a result, not deserve it, be absolute gash, but go take a problem.
Let me ask you this.
That's more feeling than logic, but we're not winning at Arsenal, man. This team is going to the Lions' Den. They're the best team in the league right now. We're not going to their ground where we notoriously have a disaster and win. I just don't see that in a million years, man. More than any other game we play this year, this is the one. There's no way we're winning. Are you okay? If you are someone, I think you have been someone like myself who's concerned with the way we set up. Are you more than happy for Thomas Frank to set us up to stink the house out? I don't think we've got a choice, Sean. I don't. I think if we go for it, we just don't have what it takes. We don't. Not against this lot. One thing, and also, we're looking at the creativity. Before we played Chelsea, I said Xavi Simons is in trouble. He's up against Caicedo. He's the best 6 in the league. He's really going to struggle, and he did. The whole team did, to be fair. Xavi Simons is up against Zubimendi and Declan Rice. It's no joke. It's no joke. Yeah. At their ground, he's going to have a stinker. He's not ready for that game. So those players are just levels, man. Maybe
so how do you go? So if Arsenal go 1-0 up, right? Let's say Saka buries one off the right.
Yeah.
How did Tottenham go about chasing the game? In your opinion, if you're Thomas Frank, if you're given the management tools for the day,
everything I criticise Arsenal for, we have to do. It's got to be set piece settings. Van de Ven up there, Kudus with a good ball in, Danzo, whatever it takes, set piece massive. Or a really, really bad mistake from Arsenal. They give away a penalty or something, or someone slips over. Like when Maddison nicked the ball off of their midfielder and he fed Son into the equaliser against Ange. Something silly like that. I don't see us creating. Am I right in saying Arsenal have conceded the least amount of shots against them as well?
Yeah.
Guys, we've got to get real.
They barely have. Like Reyes had, like, I think September and October, I think Raya had like 6 shots they had to save, and none of them went in or something stupid. It's ridiculous.
So when you look at all this data, all these stats, all this evidence, and then you look at us, the only thing we are clinging on to, the only thing is we're good away from home in terms of we don't lose. That's the only thing we're clinging on to, which is why I'm going for a draw. That's the only reason I'm saying it's a draw. But I don't know how we're going to do it, because I think, yeah, they've got injuries, but so have we. I don't see how we go there and put one on them. I don't see how we can even set up to do it, if I'm honest with you. We're just not there. So I'm going to say 1-1. I'll just say 1-1. And it's a desperate 1-1.
Okay. James, same question to you. Gabriel looks like he's out. I think most of the other ones, I mean, Arsenal fans are pretending like they've got an injury crisis. There's no excuses for me on their injury levels. But they do have a few players out. But I was listening to Dan Potts earlier. He was trying to convince Deji that, George rather, that there's more first team players out of Arsenal's team than there are Tottenham's, and obviously Gabriel's a big one for them, because I think Gabriel's probably their biggest attacking threat. Right? I'm not particularly concerned about Gyökeres. I'm not particularly concerned about Mikel Merino. I am concerned from their set pieces, and their set piece king is Gabriel, but he is out. So is that a boost for our confidence, our chances?
Well, I mean, it's completely different circumstances. Gabriel's out, but they bring in another like Hincapi in. You know what I mean? It's not the end of the world if we lose a Romero
from an offensive set piece.
But
it is a big deal.
Yeah, I get your point, but they've still got the likes of Eze's and the Sagas and the Trossard. They've still got so much going forward that I think what you just said there, if they go 1-0 up, what does Frank do? I would try to get a game called off. I don't know, because if they go 1-0 up, I think it's game. I don't think in any way, shape or form that we have an attack that's going to break them down. They are solid. The only way I see us scoring is if they play like Calafluri left back and Kudos can get 1-on-1 with him and try and draw fouls or penalties, or that is the only way I actually see us go in there, which is quite sad, to be honest. I don't see any outcome other than a loss. It's so hard to predict that as well, because it's the one game that I'll never say I will go there on the game day. I'll be like, yeah, we're going to win this. It's just that one game you always kind of have that hope with, but this is the biggest gap in between the teams where I feel this is like the Henry days. When you kind of go, right, well, we've lost this, move on. That's kind of how I feel this week.
Yeah. Fair enough. Listen, I'm kind of with Stel and with James. I don't think it's I'm expecting nothing from it, but the only way I think that we can get something realistically, I think that if we go 1-0 down, Tottenham seem to have some sort of resilience where we appear to like turn into a different version of ourselves when we're chasing a game. You think back to the Brighton game, we were 2-0 down. You think back to other games. Wolves, for example, we turn it on a little bit and find our way back. Manchester United as well to a degree. And when we go 1-0 down, we seem to manifest into a team that can actually play football. But when the game's 0-0, we can't. I don't want to encourage us to go 1-0 down against Arsenal.
But Sean, do we? Do we? Against Bournemouth, do we?
Okay, against Bournemouth we didn't. But look, the reality is that
if we go 1-0 down to them, don't you think, shit, this is the worst team to go 1-0 down to?
I hear you. I definitely hear you. But I'd much rather go 1-0 down in the 30th minute than in the 70th minute, because I feel like historically,
there's more time to come back.
We have a little bit of time left to be able to build, and I think that Tottenham seem to turn on a different gear. Luva, I'll come to you. I'm with the boys. Like I think set pieces are the way to really, to try to cause a little bit of damage. If we go 1-0 up, amazing. But then I also think that's also got its own downside, Lubo, in as much as we suddenly become a team that's going to sit in and try to protect. And that doesn't often bode well for Tottenham. So, I'd like to keep it level playing field for as long as possible and then pick them off late. But if we are going to go down early and try and recover, I'd rather it happen a little bit earlier than later in the game.
Score prediction, Sean. I need it for the table. I've got 1-1.
I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal.
2-0 Arsenal. James, what about you?
I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal.
We'll let James can represent Johnny. All right.
Johnny,
Johnny
I've messaged
Johnny,
Johnny
man.
anyway. I've messaged Johnny. Let's see if Johnny's
Yeah.
replied. Let's see what Johnny says.
For me, with that game, I criticised Vicario for his aerial ability and his box commandment. He's going to have to play a huge part in that game to get us anything over the line as well. Aerially in the box as well as shots. He's going to be a busy man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask one question before Lubo speaks? Right.
Sure.
If we get absolutely trounced, like a 4-5 is that acceptable or not? Because we've never lost 4-5 there ever that I can remember.
So games, you get results like that. Sometimes it's for you.
We've never got a result at that ground like that ever.
Well,
Not that
listen, I've never seen us win 4-0 at City before last season. So, results happen, and we weren't 4 goals better off.
So if we lost 4-0, you'd be like, "It's all right. We're just not good."
No, it will ruin my weekend if we lose 1-0 to a last-minute goal, because I just hate losing, and certainly to that lot. Can't stand it. I hate it. Just wrecks the weekend. Wrecks the week, to be honest.
Yeah, but what if we got battered though? I'm saying if we got a proper time.
Regardless, it doesn't matter whether it's 1-0 or 4-0, 5-0. It's.
Do you think it will matter to the fans? Not necessarily you specifically, Lubo. Do you think it will turn more and more?
Yeah, of
fans
course.
100%.
Listen, I as I said in last week's show, I despair with the fans. They just look at everything's reactive, everything's instant, everything. Everyone expects Frank to put right 10 years of shit transfer windows in 5 minutes. It's a dream. Fans just dream.
What if we play like we did against Chelsea? We don't even show up.
No, listen, I was pissed off with that still. Listen, I'm not.
Again?
If it happens again, I just think at the end of the day, matches is all about, forget about tactics. It's about players and quality of players, and they've got a much better team and a much better squad than us. And if they turn up, regardless of whether we turn up or not, if they turn up, they'll win. So I'm not expecting anything. No, I do think we'll score. I think we'll score from a set piece, but I think they'll score 3, and that's 3-1's my same as James. I think we'll go down 3-1. I think we've had a very good run away from home. I think we've played very well away from home. I think Sunday will be a step too far. I think we'll get hammered on Wednesday night as well. I think we've got 2 bastards of matches coming up. We've got the best team in England and the best team in Europe away from home. If we don't turn up,
Sean predicts a loss. You predict a loss. I predict a draw, and I've got Art Face in the comments coming for me. I'm the only one. He doesn't predict a loss. And
I think that if we don't show up like we did against Chelsea, I would then start to think that the players don't believe in anything that he's saying, because not that they're not trying to produce it, but if there's no fight or nothing, I would then sort of say why. That comes down to the manager.
Yeah. Sean, can I just answer one of the guys in the comments, Cole Chessman? The fans I despair, Cole, are the ones who don't realise that building a football team takes longer than 4 months. Building a football team, when you look at the clubs at the top who are winning trophies, who are winning cups, and normally it's pretty much the same 4 or 5 teams, you look at the players that have been bought, that have been coached over several years by managers who have been in position for several years. And we just want, he's no good, chuck him out. In fact, Frank's, I was on a WhatsApp group the other week after Chelsea. Let's chuck him out. We played 10 games. So by that standard, if we get, we'll have 4 managers for each league season. How on earth are we ever going to build something for this football club if fans won't be patient and won't
You've got to have the right manager to do it, though. You've got to have the right manager.
You've got to have the right manager. But do I think whether Frank's going to be successful or not at Tottenham? I don't know. But how do I know after 4 months? How does anybody know after 4 months?
You don't. No one knows.
Exactly. And so going back to Cole, when I despair with fans going Frank out, give the guy a chance. That's what I'm saying. Let's have a look at the end of the season. Let's see how he's done over a 10-month season, and then give a definitive opinion. Then, how's he done? Well, we didn't have those players then. How did he adapt? What tactics did he play? What were his team selections like? We came back late. We came into January. He picked up this player and that player. Kulu came back, etc., etc. He was able to play different systems, and you look back. It's too short a period now for fans to be talking.
Do you think we're going to play not to lose, be very defensive, very pragmatic, hopefully get a counter attack, and that's going to be the game plan for the game? Or do you think
I don't give a shit? Do you know what?
We'll impose ourselves in the derby and give it a go. What do we think we'll do?
If they have 80% of the game and they have 30 chances and we have one and we win 1-0, I'll be absolutely over the moon.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, how do you think we would approach it? Forget what happens. I'm asking what you think we will do in terms of how we will set up.
And more importantly than how you think we'll approach it, how would you approach it?
How would I approach it? I play 3 at the back. I play Danso, Romero.
It's not going to happen tomorrow.
No, you're asking.
That's what he thinks. That's what he thinks.
Yes. What would I do? I'd play 3-5-2 like we did at PSG. I thought we gave a really good account of ourselves for 80 minutes in Italy in the Super Cup. I would play 3-5-2. I'd play on the break, and I'd try and nick a goal and maybe two goals. Who knows? Gabriel is going to be a big miss for them. They're missing Gyökeres, I think, as well. There are other players who are missing. There are other players who are doubtful. Let's see how we do. You never know in football. That's the beauty about this game. It's the best game.
Apparently, Richarlison's outperformed Gyökeres this season.
Yeah,
you had the bench out.
Well, I don't know.
But for me, the only way the 3 at the back work, and I know this is bold, and I said it before, is if Jed Spence plays right centre back in a back 3. For me, with Trossard's pace, I think the only way you could play a back 3 is Danso unfortunately stays on the bench, even though I think he's good. Van der Ven, Romero, Jed Spence at right centre back because he can defend and he's got pace. And then you would then allow Porro. You'd say to Porro and Doggy, look, you're gonna have to get back, but go for it. You've got a bit of free will to go for it as well.
The other question:
are you putting in the midfield tomorrow, boys? Oh, Sunday, boys, rather.
Bentancur, Polina.
Standard.
I don't think Bovril and Sarah fit anyway, and Basuma's not fit.
You know what? I wouldn't play Simmons in the 10 for this game. I think we need someone who's got some physicality. I don't know who.
That's
Star? Maybe Star with his energy. Would you go Star?
I think Star's injured.
I think he's injured. Star's injured. So
do you know what? I would throw a curveball and put Kudus in that 10. I'd throw a curveball, put Kudus in the 10. Put Odebert on the left, on the right. Maybe Simmons on the left. Maybe. I don't know. We need someone physical to go up against Zubimendi and Rice.
Or Johnson again, ole, still?
The other question.
Mate, I'm all for it. Just
it's sort of, if you're looking for a person that's not going to get rattled by the kind of environment, he's not going to be scared by the occasion. You got Brennan Johnson, who I genuinely believe has got 2 brain cells between his head, and the reason why he's so good is because he doesn't realise when he's going through on goal, when he's got a chance, it's like it's elevator music that's going on up here. It's all like instinct. There's not like, oh shit, I'm about to do something. Like Xavi Simons in the Newcastle preseason friendly when he was doing all the step overs. I just think there was too much going on up here. He's a smart guy, and it was all a bit pressurized. Whereas Brennan Johnson, I think, is just someone that benefits from being so poor that he can drift into the back post because no one's marking him. And then when he does have these chances, when he does go over the top, I don't think the occasion phases him because he doesn't really realise how big the occasion is.
Great.
The other big question that Frank has got is: does he sacrifice the attacking option of Udogie and Odebert on that left, and play Spence on the left because Spence played Saka very well last season? Saka goes onto his goes onto his left foot and takes Spence onto his best foot.
You absolutely. If you're playing a back 4, you absolutely play Jed Spence on Sunday, 100%.
Mate, 100%. He's going to play the most defensive team he can put out. He's going to go there and stinky. I just no. I'll be.
If Jed Spence starts on the left-hand side, then you don't. There's almost no point in playing Odebear in front of him because Odebear needs to work with Udogie. So maybe I don't necessarily disagree with Stell's idea of like, man, maybe put Odebear on the right and let him work with Porro.
Is it fair to say as well that maybe Danso is needed for his aerial ability? We know how good Declan Rice is at delivering the ball, and our best offensive.
Yeah, but you can't. You're going to do that. You have to put him on the right-hand side, right? But then
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't rate Danzo. I think I'm one of
no, but in the air, he's one of our better players, and I know they're missing out on Gabriel, but Declan Rice, regardless of what anyone thinks of him, puts that ball wherever he wants it. So someone like Danso in the middle when they've got those corners, I'd feel a lot more comfortable than. Well, to be honest, the first defender on the team sheet, if you're going to be defending a team with set pieces, would probably be Danso for his aerial ability.
You're dropping Romero?
No, I would. I would. This is what I said. I kind of contradict myself because I said Spence at right centre back, but I think the amount of corners and free kicks they're going to have, you have to have Danso on that pitch because I don't think Romero is good in the air and Van de Ven's awful in the air. Or not awful because he's actually improved.
I'd love to see Tottenham go to a back three. I would absolutely love to, but we haven't seen any. We haven't seen any. Like we haven't even tried it in the Premier League. We tried
PSG, it worked. PSG,
and it worked brilliantly against PSG, and I'd love to see it happen. I would love to see it happen. The problem is that if Dragusin isn't on the bench and Kota Takai is not fit, then if you play a back three, you have no centre backs that you can draw to, and if something was to happen to one of them, you immediately have to abdicate your game plan and go back to a back four. If that happens in the 3rd minute, like what happened with Bergwijn, for example, then your entire week's practice and your setup is out of the window. So, like,
but at least
I think that Tottenham do have the intentions to go to a back three at some point, but until they have people centre backs on the bench, I mean, Ben Davies isn't fit. Dragusin's played 45 minutes.
But it's not like they're going to be swapping a back three for a back four that they've never played before. They've played it every week so far. So is it not worth them trying a back three? And if it all does go tits up, they're going back to what they know anyway.
I mean,
maybe. But look what happened with Bergwijn in the game.
I agree. Yeah, I do agree.
We have got Spence, Danso, Romero, and Van der Ven. So if you've got one injury, you have got one player to come in.
What, into a back three?
Yeah.
Why are we assuming that Jed Spence can play in a back three?
No, we're not.
We're not going to play a back three on.
Not playing a back. I can't see a players playing a back three.
We're not going to.
Listen, we got a job though. We got to jump. Listen, we will be back on Monday to find out to talk about whatever's happened. Stel, did you get all your predictions? Yeah, you got them all.
Yeah. So you've gone 2-0 Arsenal. Lubo's gone 3-1 Arsenal. I've gone 1-1. James has gone 2-1 Arsenal, and Johnny's going
3-1.
Oh, Johnny's went
3-1. I went 3-1.
3-1. Sorry.
Okay. You're waiting on Johnny.
And Johnny's going to come back. All right, listen. I want to say a massive thank you. We've got a couple more super chats to run through quickly. Big up to you, Toby Sumting 1. Going to get cancelled. Appreciate you. I think you're the man formerly known as Cat Funt. I was with Gaza today. So happy.
Wow.
If that's a legit story, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
I hope that was cool, man. Appreciate you very much, and I love your emote. You're an icon, mate. It's the best icon in the business. Dean Law, big up to you, Dino. Houdini, choo choo to you, Houdini. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you very much indeed, buddy. Always here, always supporting every channel. And Luke Wardle, big up to you, Luke. He says, "Great show as always, fellas. I genuinely believe we get something Sunday, and really think it will be a Poch Villa away-esque moment that kicks us on."
Hopefully.
Love that, Luke. I think, Stel's the only one on the panel that thinks that's possible as well. Not sure. I've seen, guys, just in the last sort of 20 seconds, those that are still watching, please do throw your score predictions in. I'd love to see if anyone thinks that Tottenham can actually get the result. Appreciate you, Luke. Thank you very much for your support, my man. Guys, we will leave it there. We're back on Monday night, 8 o'clock. James, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Always welcome. And I saw people in the chat earlier on saying, make sure these two guests are regular insertions. Massive thank you to Billy T as well, who came on, and Appreciate you, Billy. I'll see you very soon as well, mate, for a big night out. I loved what you said earlier about the jaw. That, like, I won't go through it again. Stel, big up to you, mate. Good luck with your channel. Lubo, big up to you. Johnny, any time today, mate? Any chance you feel like ever rocking up to the show that you're a part of, mate? It'd be great to see you. I hope you got home safe. Fucking deduct his wages. Deduct the man's wages. Big up to you all. We will leave it there. I'm going to hand you over to the safe hands of Spotlight on Spurs, Lukey. We're going to hand you over to Lukey. He's over there right now. Please do smash Spurs 5 raid, and we will see you on Monday. Appreciate you all. Bye.